Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Over 50 Starting Over. This is simply to document my 3-day fast and share my experience with you. I mentioned on our previous podcast with Merle, and that was O5O 5.25 extreme dieting. You could catch that at over50startingover.com if you have any interest. And I mentioned to Merle that this is how my journey began. I just fed up with the amount that I let myself go, eating bar food, drinking too much, and gaining the weight from that. I've always exercised regularly, but that's not enough at 56 years old to keep up with that lifestyle. So I decided to buckle down and go through a cleanse from mid-April to June 1st. And as I was telling Merle about this, and this was a couple of weeks ago, the podcast prior to extreme dieting, Merle then mentioned, so I said I was doing intermittent fasting and detoxing, no drinking, eating clean, and all of that. So I was doing intermittent fasting to try to get things under control. Was wondering if Merle wanted to join me on this this period of time. He told me about this 3-day fast that he did. And coincidentally, that was right on the heels of me listening to a Rogan podcast with Bill Maher, who was talking about doing 5-day fasts, that he does them a few times a year. That floored me. But he also talked about the extreme benefits to that, the clarity of thinking, and not to mention, obviously, supposedly you go into a state called ketosis, and it's easier after the first day of hunger, and you start your body starts pulling fat and other toxins out of the rest of your body and cleans you up in ways that it never did. In fact, Mar put it like our bodies here in the US are in a constant state of digesting, as opposed to in years gone by, many years gone by. And so our bodies are not healing other aspects of our lives. In fact, he says that when you can get your body past the state of digesting, that it will then virtually go back in time and help heal things that it should have healed years ago. So I found a lot of appeal to this. And then when Merle talked about doing a 3-day fast, I was kind of floored, and it got into my head, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, that I needed to try to do this. So I looked up how to do it, and I shared the link with you guys in that extreme dieting podcast. And I will just say it is at Simland, and Sim is with 2 I's, simland.com, 3-day-fast-benefits. Again, I will share the link once again. It's a very comprehensive look at how to do a 3-day fast correctly. This young fitness guy shares really great sources at the end, so it's very well written. And I knew I had to embark on this. I also think I did it at exactly the right time, because I was 2 weeks into doing intermittent fasting. I had lost 6 pounds to that point. And you would call those the easy 6 pounds. The upfront, when you first go on a diet, the stuff that you lose first is the easiest, and it gets harder as you go along. So I've known that the following weight, maybe 5 pounds, at about 5 more pounds is about where I'd want to be. That's going to be harder. So I think I'm just interested in the benefits of this 3-day fast. So I embarked on this with my last meal being Friday, which was the 22nd, I guess. I used this article. I'm using this as a guide, not a Bible, but a guide. And it suggested that my last meal should be salmon and broccoli, no complex carbohydrates, because you don't want your body preventing it from going into ketosis with any lengthier amount of time than needed. So that's what I did. The salmon and the broccoli, big portions of each. So my last meal was about 7 o'clock on Friday, the 22nd. This is now Sunday at 10 a.m. And I said to Merle that I was going to document every day, morning and then at night. And Didn't have it in me. There certainly wasn't anything on my first morning to talk about. At that point, it was just another morning. And as for last evening, now understand that yesterday, Saturday, was my first full day of fasting. That's your critical day, because that's when your body is just digesting what it has at hand. And it's the hard day, so to speak. I mean, so what this says, there was nothing in the morning. I did not feel particularly hungry until about 5 o'clock in the evening. It started really getting to me a bit. And I made notes on what I did ingest during that day, largely following this article that I was talking about. But like I said, I don't take it as a Bible. Everybody's different. And then I also think every diet that comes around, everybody jumps on it like, oh my God, it's the greatest new thing and scientifically proven, as they all say. And then it gets debunked sometime down the road, such as intermittent fasting. I shared a debunking post on that in my last podcast with Merle, though I will say that I lost 6 pounds in 2 weeks doing it. I wouldn't do it on a regular basis. My intent is here with the 2 weeks of intermittent fasting and now this 3-day fast that I'm doing. My intent is after this is that I'm resetting my system. I'm resetting myself mentally, my outlook on food, how I view food, how I view myself, and try to treat both with more respect going forward. And I used to do a better job at that through most of my life, and I need to reset. That's what this is for me, a great reset. And so I hope to go into more of a moderate mode after I'm done with this. I tend to think, and we'll see, I'm halfway through this gig right now, but I hope that this won't be the last time that I do this. I hope that this fasting experience will be a very positive experience, and that I do this again, whether it's 6 months from now or a year from now, and maybe I can bring along a few people on my journey as well. We'll see. That's why I wanted to document this. So yesterday, day one, I weighed myself and I was 204 pounds at 8 a.m. yesterday morning. I had at about approximately 7 and 8 a.m. yesterday morning, Saturday, my first day, I had 3 cups of coffee, which is one of these if you're watching on YouTube. And I typically have 2 of these every morning of coffee, which technically would be about 6 cups. I had 3 cups. I had 1 of those yesterday. That's to get started. Now, this article tells me that you should do a lot less on the coffee. I think everybody's different. And since I drink a lot of coffee anyway, I don't want any caffeine withdrawal headaches or anything like that. I really enjoy coffee. It has no nutritional value, so I don't think it's going to prevent me from entering ketosis, which you really want to do because the intense hunger is supposed to subside and your body shifts. This is the whole point. You want your body to make the shift from looking in your stomach for food to digest to searching out other reserves throughout your body. It's a complete and total shift. And that is when supposedly your hunger actually rather subsides. So day 1 is supposed to be rather brutal, and day 2 and 3 is supposed to not be. We'll see about that. So I started with 3 cups of coffee. Then just around 10:30 a.m., I had 2 cups of water with salt in it, salt water. This is to help retain water. It says repeatedly in this article to head off dehydration. I drink water and tea all day long. I no doubt that I will not have any problem with dehydration. And then around 3 p.m., I had 2 more cups of coffee to stave off the hunger. And I don't ever want to go later than 3 p.m. because the caffeine will just keep me up at night. That's even pushing it a bit. So that's what I did. Throughout the day too, I had 3 cans of sparkling water. There's no nutritional value to it. It's 0 grams of everything, including salt and sodium. But the whole bubbly thing tastes very good. So there's a little bit of cessation of taste or hunger in that regard, but also it probably fills your stomach up a little bit, the bubbliness. and it's delicious. I absolutely love it. So there's that. About 5:30. So Lisa had me, what did she have me do? I had to wash and dry the cars. And before, in the basement, I had to do a lot of scraping and painting in the basement to make that pristine. That took a couple hours. So it was nice to stay busy and occupied in that regard. And it's been such a beautiful weekend, 80 degrees and sunny here in April. That's very unusual here in Cleveland. And it's been perfect timing for me so that I could be outside. I enjoyed doing the cars and out in the sunshine, walking Charlie. He got a lot of good quality walks yesterday, got to see a lot of dogs. So he was very happy. And so it's a good way to preoccupy myself rather than the typical doom and gloom weather that we have during this time of year. It would have made things difficult. I don't think sitting around trying to watch TV to get your mind off things is a good way to go, because what do we do when we watch TV? We typically want a snack. So it's good to get out. It's good to be out in nature. It is a very refreshing change of pace. And I'd have to say by yesterday evening, I was a little lightheaded, probably around 7-ish. I had 2 cups of water with 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, which was recommended in this article as well. So that is supposed to help out with the hunger to some extent. Apple cider vinegar actually, I think, is very good. And it makes a point to say, do not use more than two teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. It will have ill effects. I think what it was suggesting is that it would bring me out of ketosis. Perhaps my body would recognize food source. And so you want to stay in ketosis too. And then I had to say, I weighed myself last night, and I was still 204. That was a little disappointing, but the scale is crappy. I got to bed by about 10 to 10:30 and got up at 6:30, weighed myself. I was 204. I had not lost a pound according to that scale. Wait for it. I had a couple cups of water to start off, and I made another 3 cups of coffee, 1 cup of this. I took Charlie for a nice long walk on this beautiful day around the lake around here. We probably walked for 1.5 miles. Came back, weighed myself. I'm 201. Took a shower and weighed myself, and I was 201. So that's the scale that I'm dealing with. I have no idea what I really weigh, but I probably did lose a couple pounds in my fast yesterday. This article suggests that today, what I have to expect is that I'm supposed to feel a little bit, it says the effects of ethanol. So I guess a little drunk, a little high or something. I think that I do. I've been told that I'm supposed to be less hungry today. I was talking with Merle's brother, Scott Garrison, yesterday. I had a great conversation with him. And he knows more about dieting now than I ever will. He told me, well, it's not that you're not going to feel hungry. It's just that cessation of the feeling of hunger changes a bit. And I guess I could agree with that I'm hungry, but it has changed a bit. It's not such an immediate kind of a feeling. We'll just see how it goes. I wanted to catch us up on this to this point. If you have interest, I will make another recording, whether it's maybe it'll be tomorrow morning or maybe later tonight. We'll just see, just when I feel like I have a meaningful update. I'll check back in with you guys later. Thanks a bunch. Bye. Hey, everybody. This is day 2 of my fast. At the end of day 2, it's 7:00 at night, and I have 24 hours to go. Exactly. I wanted to address a couple of things. I think a lot of people would wonder, can you take supplements during this fast? I forgot to address that before. No, don't take anything for your body to gnaw on. I mentioned before that I also I started doing whey protein and have been doing creatine. And I found that was good for my arthritic shoulder. Not doing those things, not doing anything during this fast. The only thing I'm doing, I repeated what I did yesterday, and that is I did start the day with 1 of these full cups of coffee, which actually equals 3 measured cups of coffee. And that is after a full glass of water. So I waited on that a little bit. I had about 3 cans of sparkling water throughout the day. I just minutes ago had a couple cups of water with lemon in it. And that I think, at about 3 o'clock, I had 2 more cups of coffee. So I have about twice as much coffee as is recommended. And I think everybody's just a little bit different. Maybe I'm not doing the best thing or perfectly. I'm not sure, but I'm doing what I think is best for me. And if I do this fast again sometime in the future, maybe I'll make some adjustments. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. It's about 7 o'clock tomorrow. I will have my first meal, and I want it to be a salad with romaine lettuce, feta cheese, protein, whether it's chicken or I have turkey burger, maybe some berries, and I think oil and vinegar. I want it to be light, but I want it to be healthy. This is what I'm really craving, to tell you the truth. Today, so how have I felt today? Lisa asked me about it, and I said, well, let's equate it to pain. Like the first day is kind of like acute pain. Your hunger is kind of like more acute. And day 2 is more like a dull pain. And so there's that. I'm definitely hungry, but I could say what I did best today is that totally got my mind off of hunger is Charlie and I took a nice walk through down a wooded path, a very long wooded path, about an hour hike. And this is back in a ravine, very close to our house. It's nice to have. We've had the good fortune of having back-to-back 80-degree sunny days here this weekend. So that's very fortunate. Spending time outside definitely takes my mind off of the food and the hunger. So I've given Charlie a ton of walks this weekend. I've gotten a lot of exercise in this regard. That's another question. Should I exercise? Well, the link that I've provided that I've been following for the most part says that you want to take it easy, that you want this to be something of a physical and mental retreat. Well, a retreat to me is actually exercise. And I've done a lot of walking. The hiking was rather vigorous for sure. But I would not go to the gym. And this website that I've shared that I'm following also says day 3. Try to take naps, try to do whatever you can just to get through the day. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like, but I think I'll probably be trying to do a lot of walks and stuff like that again to take my mind off of things. That's what works for me. Let's see. Another thing that I wanted to mention about, well, how do I process the whole hunger thing as I'm going through this? I got to tell you, Merle said it's a spiritual thing for him. I get that. I think it is a spiritual thing, whether you want it to be or not. One thing that's helped me keep things in perspective, very, very good perspective, is from the start, I thought about people that have starved throughout time, Maoist China, Nazi Germany, China today, all over the world. People that have starved without wanting to, North Korea is notorious, without any choice in the matter. And here I am doing a self-imposed fast because I got myself into a situation, a mild situation, but I just got myself into a physical condition that I don't want to be in by overindulging in food. I think that's kind of pathetic. That's where we're at in this country. So if you want to feel sorry for yourself as you try to go through this, there's absolutely no need to. I think we need to keep it in perspective. I think the least we could do is go 3 days a little bit hungry and know that we should very much be thankful for the fact that we have the ability to stay full at all times in this country, and we abuse that. Talk about privilege, the over and abused word privilege. We are all privileged in this country. And I want to take this time as a reset. I've mentioned that before. I want to reset my relationship with food and drink and lifestyle. And the way I treat my own body, the perspective I have on these things. And with that, I'm just going to sign off now and do what I can to get through the rest of this evening, get to bed, and start on day 3. Final day. I can't wait to get to about 7 p.m. and have my salad. So I'll let you know how that goes. Oh, I wanted to mention one final thing. On this website, with all of the advice I've taken from it, it does mention that in day 2, that I should start to feel a mild intoxication. And this is because of elevated ketone bodies that lead to accumulation of acetic acid. I definitely have felt that today, something of a mild intoxicated feeling due to these things. And I will apologize for my mispronunciation of these words. Prior to a week ago, I've known nothing about a 3-day fast or the ketone diets, any of that. So as I've muddled through this, I've been told I mispronounced a lot of these words. Of course I did. I'm not savvy on this stuff, and I really don't have the inclination to be. I have other interests. So maybe in time I'll get a little more up to speed with the jargon here. So with that, I'll just sign off and I'll get back at you probably one last time tomorrow. All right, see you. Hey guys, welcome back to 3-Day Fast Day 3. To be honest, this is actually day 4. My recording last night, my microphone was not plugged in, and I think in the grand scheme of things, this is better, because I think you would be interested to find out how my next morning went after my 3-day fast. But to catch you up on day 3, I went through the same procedure that I did on day 2. I had about 3 cups of coffee, which is one of these great big things, in the morning. And I went to work. I walked Charlie, went to work. I had a great day of work. I had the clarity that was spoken of, and I had an extreme amount of clarity. I definitely felt buzzed, as that website I referenced said I would. But I had a really good sense of clarity, had a great day of work, where I typically complain about being self-employed. I'm switching hats a lot. I go from administrator stuff to some kind of a creative project to a different creative project, back to some kind of administration paperwork stuff. And it's typically difficult for me to make the switch between these different roles. And I had no problem yesterday. I just rifled through stuff, and I thought I worked very efficiently, really enjoyed it. Charlie got his degree of walks, so I definitely got more exercise than I thought I would. The website I keep referencing said, hey, try to take naps, just try to do what you can to get through the day. I had a lot of energy, and it was the least hungry that I've been of the 3 days. I really wasn't hungry up until about 4 o'clock, when I started thinking about food. So all of that kind of came to fruition as it was prophesized in this website. So I targeted 6 p.m. to be when I was going to eat. The website says anything after 70 hours doesn't matter. You don't need to go the full 72. You won't get additional benefits. I suppose this is referencing hundreds of studies probably. So I chose 71 hours. At 6 o'clock, I would eat. So I went to Whole Foods. I got mixed greens, a spring mix, a big tub of this stuff, onion, cherry tomatoes, some berries, and I had turkey burger that I thawed that I had pre-prepared, and made a terrific salad with also vinegar and oil. But I had a ton of it at 6 p.m. I did not eat before 6. I'm making the thing at quarter till, chopping up all this food and everything, but I wouldn't eat until after 6. And I did overindulge a bit, forgot. I bought 2 small, very ripe avocados and made some terrific guacamole. And there was my fat, the good fat, and had that with some almond flour crackers. So that was really good. Nice to have the crunch in there along with the salad. It was really delicious. I overindulged. I should have ate less, but I could not stop myself. I ate a ton and was very full all night sleeping. This morning I went to the gym This is a normal day for me now, and to report how I feel 100% normal. I was still full though at the gym, and I just came back and had my protein and creatine shake that I haven't had in 3 days. That was all I've had today, and I'm still not hungry. It's 11:30. To recap, I started my health cleanse on about April 10th at about 210 pounds. I'm 6'2". And just not carrying the weight the way I used to. I have less muscle mass. So 210 used to be a good weight for me. It's definitely not anymore. So I started the intermittent fasting for about a 2-week period. So that took me to April 22nd when I started my 3-day fast. I started my 3-day fast at 204 pounds. And I ended it last night before eating. I was 200.7, so almost 201. I only lost 2 to 3 pounds in my fast, but I took off the easy pounds in my intermittent fasting. So I almost lost a total of 10 pounds in this 2-week period, which is about all one, I think, should expect to do so healthily. And now I'm going to level out and continue to eat healthy and continue this health quest binge until June 1st. That was what I had decided on. The form it takes from here, I'm not quite sure. My workouts, I will try to keep in an upper echelon pace. And diet-wise, I'm just going to try to eat very clean during this period of time, and I want to trim down some more. But that's it for the update on the 3-day fast. Wasn't as bad as I feared, and I will likely do it again. All right.